Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Thursday, the 18th of January. Working our way through Acts, we read chapter 18 today, where Paul leaves Athens and goes to Corinth. He spends a while working with Priscilla and Aquila, tent makers like himself, and preaching part-time. Then Silas and Timothy arrive, and he can devote himself to full-time ministry, which he does. And we're told that Paul devoted himself exclusively to preaching, testifying to the Jews that Jesus was the Messiah. But when they opposed Paul and became abusive, he shook out his clothes in protest and said to them, "Your blood be on your own heads. I am innocent of it. From now on, I will go to the Gentiles." Then Paul left the synagogue and went next door to the house of Titius Justus, a worshipper of God. Another read that I thought it was an interesting kind of challenge to us, that we do what we can, and when it's not working, move on. And Jesus said the same thing when he sent the disciples out. He said, "Go into the surrounding towns and villages, and if they won't receive you, shake out the folds of your garment and move on." Warn them, say, the kingdom of God's near, you don't want to receive it, that's on your head, and move on. And yeah, Paul did exactly the same thing. They were not listening, they didn't want to hear, they were rejecting, becoming abusive, and he said, "That's it, I will move on." And indeed, the gospel flourished as he preached it among the Gentiles. And for us as Christians, we do what we can, but sometimes when there's obstruction and resistance, to keep on and on and on is a waste of our time and just makes people more and more resistant. Sometimes we just wash our hands, shake out the folds of our garment and say, well, we've tried, and move on to somewhere else where we will hopefully be more fruitful in ministry. So don't be discouraged when you don't get results. Paul didn't get results here. They resisted. He did what he could. The greatest evangelist of all time tried and tried, and they wouldn't have it. So he left it and moved on. So we do what we can, we share when we can, we witness as we can. And sometimes, like Paul, we just have to leave it and move on and share with other people. So be encouraged by that thought and be challenged as well, knowing that as we serve, we are blessed.